Welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright, Justice for All. On our last installment, if you remember correctly, we found out the sad and yet terrible truth of what really happened at the Very Big Circus. And it was all about two brothers and one Phyllis. The love of a woman underage versus the love of a brother. What's going to happen this time? Let's find out, shall we? On the conclusion of this case, Turnabout Big Top. December 30th, 9:41 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 5.
Good morning, Max.
Oh, yeah. Good morning, sweeties. You don't seem like your usual sparkling self today.
I'm always like this before I go in front of the audience. I'm working up to it. Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. Regina! Get him, Big House! Fabulous! My sweetie pie princess! You came to watch my performance today? Of course I did! Mo told me that I should come and watch this.
Mo said that?
So what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess, you'll fly at the end?
It's not that kind of show. Isn't that right, my sweetie? Is it?
I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to realize what's going on, or even where she is.
Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtain. I'll see you later. Today I was just a member of the audience.
Fabulous! Enjoy yourself out there.
Good luck, Max. You're the best.
Goodbye, Phyllis.
Regina's different, don't you think, Nick?
Top of the morning to ya! Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go? Mo. Top of the morning to you, Governor. Top of the morning. Awesome ticket. The talk of the day starts with energy in the morning. The early bird gets the worm, but then again, worms like higher brain function. Here, Max, I brought you a present. How's the milk? Oh my! Thank you. So how you doing today, right? Well, got the feeling that I'm going to face off against a real criminal. You mean Acro?
Huh? You think he did?
Be careful. He's used to putting his life on the line, literally. He's got guts to spare. If all I got to worry about is how thin the tightrope is, I'm used to it already. It just means I won't be able to press him like I can other witnesses.
What are you going to do then, Nick?
I guess today we'll just have to do without our usual psychological warfare. Today, we rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get past Acro and to the truth.
You're right, but it's gonna be tough.
Anyways, I want you to make sure that Regina sees it all today. It's important. Then she'll finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father.
You want us to make sure Regina watches?
Yes, that's why I brought her here to court today.
What's that supposed to mean?
She needs to know that when people die, they don't just become stars. I may be an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars. True that. December 30th, 10 a.m., District Court number 2. The court is now in session in the trial of Maximilian Galactica.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Miss Von Karma, you may proceed with your case.
The prosecution would like to revise its previous theory of events.
What's the meaning of this?
We've discovered a new witness, or shall I say a new eyewitness. One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly off the scene of the crime.
Order! Order! I had a feeling something like this would come up.
Due to the revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night. An explanation the prosecution will present, if the need so arises. In fact, my detective stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene on my orders.
Poor gumshoe. Very well. Please, call your witness to the stand. Time to get to work. Or shall I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope. You brought the birds too?
Name and occupation?
Ken Dingling, but everyone calls me Acro.
I'm employed as an acrobat at the very big circus. Where were you on the night of the crime?
I was in my room that night.
If you look at the map, you will see the witness is near the crime scene.
My room is on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below my window.
The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Would you tell us what you witnessed?
Okay. What you witnessed, along with the birds.
It was just after 10 p.m. and I was resting in my bed.
Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. And a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. 'Twas Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. This witness testimony matches up exactly with that clown. This witness testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown.
If that's the case, there's very little the prosecution need to add. All that's left is to explain how the defendant disappeared into the sky that night.
Before we get that far, I'd like to cross-examine the witness.
Foolish choice by a foolish fool who wishes to fear the foolish sadness of a sad fool. A man must know the proper timing for things. Phoenix Wright. Just like your old friend, Miles H.F. did.
Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness testimony? In the words of Miss Von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceedings?
There's no way that actually happened!
Very well. You may proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, what we all witnessed. What we need to do here is just do the following. Go to 2. Press a that. Your room is on the 3rd floor, right?
Yes.
And you said that you were resting in bed.
That is correct.
But you were still able to hear a sound from outside?
I was indeed.
couldn't seem to get results. Maybe something was contradictory with what you just said. Nothing wrong. What's the matter, Mr. Wright?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Until I can find a clear contradiction, I should tread lightly. And then we press number 3. Are you sure it was a human being? It could have been a mannequin, or perhaps a large action figure. Well, setting aside the possibility of a mannequin, an action figure is plausible. You have no need to mince words with Mr. Phoenix Wright. Testify to the truth, and only the truth, just as if we were there with you that night. I believe it was human. Damn. As he strengthens his testimony. What if Acrobat's statement jives with the facts? Nothing wrong there. What's the matter, Mr. Wright?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Till I can find a clear contradiction, I should tread lightly. She's not gonna say anything until this. We press statement number 4. The light in your room was turned off then, right?
That's true. I was going to bed after all.
So with the lights off, you were still able to see a human fly by your window.
The safety lights lit things up enough for me to see. But honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouettes outside my window. 'Twas the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front.
Did you see any of the other symbols?
I clearly saw the silk hat, as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. I'm convinced that the person I saw was Max Galactica.
The more impressive, the less results I seem to get. But maybe there was something fishy with his latest bit of testimony. There is a contradiction. There's a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given.
Objection! If there's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence.
She's right. Let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of contradiction? I present to you this. You claim to have seen the exact same thing Mo saw that night. Do you stand by that?
What do you mean?
The silk hat.
What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window.
Well, you should have tried looking down out of your window that night.
That would have been quite difficult considering the state I'm in.
Just looking outside of the window was tough enough challenge for me. That's a shame because you would have noticed the silk hat found on the scene.
That's the ringmaster's hat, right?
Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max Silk Hat.
Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has 2 silk hats?
No. This is a handmade one-of-a-kind model made only for Maximilian Galactica. Which means, Acro, that you've been fibbing on the stand! Hold on!
Like always, someone has to open their mouth before thinking. Are you okay, Nick?
Well, I opened my big mouth and now I have to back it up. How about it, Mr. Wright? What would cause this witness to commit perjury in this court today? Well, actually, he's the real culprit. Your Honor, On this occasion, the defense accuses Acro himself.
On this occasion?
Accuses Acro. What in the world are you accusing him of? Obviously, we accuse him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry. Mr. Wright, are you serious? Deadly serious, Your Honor.
I think your trips to the circus have served you well. You seem to remember how to try and grab at the audience hearts and minds. Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book.
Really?
If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. He's calm enough for it to be almost be scary.
He is staying rather calm and collected. And you're sending a bird to peck at Phoenix. Mr. Dingling, do you have any response to the defense accusation?
I don't need to say anything, do I?
What do you mean?
Everyone take a good look at me. I can't even stand up by myself, let alone leave the lodging house.
That's true.
I understand that Mr. Wright is trying to help his client. But to do this by accusing me of a murder of all things. See? Even a sliver of common sense makes it clear the accusation is ludicrous.
She's right! Way to pick on the table, you heartless cruel man!
Where's the Fabian? See that? Phoenix Wright? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of this little game. I've got the doctor's note to confirm that Acro is unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning on making a claim to counter this as well. I can hear the defense now. Acro had an accomplice.
What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice? Of course he didn't.
Now then, this must be when we get to hear the name of the mystery accomplice.
Not this time, Von Karma.
What?
You're not going to sucker me into this one. What are you blubbering about, Mr. Wright? There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself. Hold up! Hold up! What are you getting at?
Way to keep them on their toes, Nick.
I'm going to have to prove how it all fits together. I have to show how Acro murdered Russell Berry.
Can you do it? Can you really do that?
I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed.
Alright, then let's do it. Phoenix Wright. If this witness is the killer, then all eyewitness accounts is all lies, right?
Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, exactly where was Mr. Dingling? Well, he was in his room, of course. Take that! He was obviously here the entire time. That's Acro's room. Pretty simple, huh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. There's only one answer to that. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster.
What? Are you nuts?
What say you, Mr. Dingling?
It's an interesting theory. That's it? Considering that what you propose is impossible, yes, that's it.
Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? As the witness has stated, your assertion is impossible. As he is in a wheelchair, there is no way he could go to the scene or be the cure. You've got a point.
It seems you've forgotten once again, Phoenix Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. That's true. Most of that he saw Max, didn't he?
But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly.
Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright?
What is it?
I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him?
If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. How do you do it? That's the next course of this legal buffet.
Be careful, Nick. You mess up here.
He's right. I can't mess up here. I gotta give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster. He killed the ringmaster while he was in his room. No doubt about it. Time to enlighten us as to how Mr. Dingerling committed this crime, Mr. Wright. I will present evidence. I'm going to present some evidence. So what did Mr. Dingerling use to commit the crime of Mr. Russell Berry? Well, let's see. He presented the crime by doing this. Take that! What's that, a picture? It is indeed. The problem is with the item that's shown in this picture. The bust. It's quite a large bust, and because it's life-size, it is also very, very heavy.
Heavy?
Barrel! Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window.
Ah!
See? This is how Acro was able to kill the ringmaster. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galacticus' ample bust. Order! Order! So you're saying the bust fell onto the ringmaster? Rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be easy, incredibly easy to commit.
How could you possibly wear a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible!
Well, Acro is an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust. Mr. Dingerling, how do you respond to these charges? Well,
Acro's at a loss for words.
should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Well, Acro, you can't run away from this. Ah!
I'd watch what I say if I were you, Phoenix Wright.
What?
Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get proper testimony from the witness himself.
Testimonial, sir. She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time. There's absolutely no need for such testimony.
The defense has its version of the matter. The prosecution has a right to respond.
The defense objection is overruled. Why can't he see things my way once in a while? Mr. Dingerling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony. The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him. Thank you. Oh! That woman will sink to any low to win a case. Acro's physical state. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think? I've no doubt in regards to this witness testimony. It was impossible for him to lift the bust and carry it over to the window. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries. That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination. It's simply stunning. Shameful, really. I can't let her get to me. I need to focus. Got to focus. Well, there's only one thing we have to do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Press. Why do you say it would be impossible? Allow me to explain. You accept that if I was carrying the bust, I couldn't see out below the window? Thus, there's no way that I would know the location of the ringmaster's head. Well, I suppose you've got a point. Hey, Nick? What if you turn things around? Maybe you think of it sort of like this? If he knew the location of the ringmaster's head, then he could drop the bust. That does make sense. Well, I could prove somehow. That Acro knew the location of the ringmaster's head without looking down. I think I've already explained things sufficiently. But let's go back to the 5th and present the following. This wooden box. The victim was hunched over this 20-pound box. So it's locked by a small key. Objection! Acro, you didn't really need to lean out of the window, did you? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I might add.
Objection!
Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Felix Wright! Enough stalling! How about you show us some evidence? But I did such a good job hinting. Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here is the wooden box. The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over. The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here? Who? When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Which means that this wooden box was already placed at the crime scene. I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense. The moment that the bus came falling down was exactly the same moment that the ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear. You mean if the bust were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box, there would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim. Hey! Antoni! Order! This is unbelievable! Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going, and there's only one way to go from here. Forward. So the next question I have is, who placed that wooden box at the scene? 'Twas Mr. Dingaling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down. Gah! Allow me to vip some sense into it. Gah! Phoenix Wright. Ah! Gah! 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 The ringmaster's head could have been anywhere where he could have lifted a box. That's why the box was so specially made. Specially made? Indeed. It had the most peculiar feature, the weight. The box has a remarkable weight. Weight? According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds. Just to lift up this wooden box would have required... Oh, I see. One would have to squat down and lift up with their body, wouldn't you say? That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large. The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? That's correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. Face! Does she even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you've said. I've heard what you've had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. Did you drop it? Did you drop the bust onto the ringmaster? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Even if I had wanted to do such a thing, I couldn't. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of this bust? I remember. Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria. And what happened to it? I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. That means... You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bus from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bus from the cafeteria to my room? You see, Phoenix Wright? Explain that! Don't forget you said there was no accomplice. Tell us exactly how the witness would have carried out the bust from the cafeteria. Yep, we definitely have a problem here. But there's no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happen once and for all. Alright, Mr. Wright, let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bust from the cafeteria back to his room? monkey. Yes, a monkey. Everyone knows money. He loves shiny objects of any size. For instance, he stole the ventriloquist ring.
So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the boost?
Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own and then brought it back home. Money lives in Acro's room. Acro's room?
Objection! But the boost was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny.
Objection! Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record. My, those are some very nice cars he's holding. Yes, and they're made of platinum, which is very shiny. Acro! Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bus back to your room.
If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate.
Order! Order, I said! Order! Miss Van Karma! Where's the boost in question at this moment?
I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak.
This is a strange turn of events. If that monkey did not steal the boost, then what happened to this case? Well, in the event, something else must have been used as a murder weapon.
Well,
Or maybe this bus was the murder weapon.
Or maybe this bus was a murder weapon. But it was used by accident.
That's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, I think we've proven more than one critical fact. Namely, that it is entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Moron! Mr. Wright was so secular. I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his arguments just hold water. There's no denying that.
Don't be so flamboozled, especially by this fraud, Anthony.
Fraud?
You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Phoenix Wright.
And what is that?
You should know! You forgot that your fraud of the magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime?
Oh!
There's no reason to doubt the clown's testimony.
That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright?
Nick, don't let her beat you now.
I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around.
When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berries, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this in only this, Phoenix Wright. The clown saw the murder. Who was it then?
Well... No, actually, let me do that. Well, the only thing that clown saw wasn't that. It was this. Yeah, it was this. Take that! He saw Max's
Ah! I asked who was the other person Mo saw on the screen, on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question.
Objection! Au contraire, mon frère! It does indeed have something to do with the question. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette. But he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw. How is that possible? Simple and really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust. What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain and holding this case? The silhouette he saw just happened to be wearing a cloak. There's no reason why you can't. There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. Or a cloak like that could easily get snagged on the bust if they came in contact. Idiot! Who in their right mind would put a cloak on a bust? It doesn't matter who put it on a bust. Just wait a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? That question is the utmost importance to this case, don't you agree? God. So let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? Well, I say this. Take that! Fool! Him? You all saying it was the victim himself? Russell Perry? That's what I'm saying. The victim himself placed the cloak on the bust. Place the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it. Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright? Explain yourself! Do you really have a handle on all of this? I'm fine, Maya. Finally putting all the pieces together. There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright. So you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back and tell you. Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the seat. Then he attached that rope to the bust and dangled the bust out of his bedroom window directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than a ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trilo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now, this is when the magic happens. At the very instant that the bus hit the victim, You just went a second down, Phoenix Knight! As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be. It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. The circus isn't over yet. With the shock of impact, it threw up the cloak and it got snagged onto the bust. That's when the sound was heard by a witness, and he took a look out of his window. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Mose Curls, the clown. When Mo looked out his window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling out the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Mo saw the bust being raised with the cloak dangling on it. Primarily because in his wheelchair, he couldn't see out of his window. So he just kept pulling the bust up. And with that, he flew, ladies and gentlemen. And this is how the magical murderer disappearing into the sky came to be. They just shit a brick! And now you know how the murder actually took place. And now you know who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the scene. Acro! It could have only been you.
He's been playing mind game with all of us.
He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now.
So.
What now?
You've graced us with a very long-winded tales. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true?
Evidence?
In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip.
And don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence?
Like they say they want some evidence.
I just explained how there can only be one possible murder method. But there's still something unusual about Mo's eyewitness account.
Unusual?
A contradiction, actually.
Okay then, use that and get out of this jam.
That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence to the court that backs your claims. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic case. No. There we go. I present, ladies and gentlemen, to this court the poster. Take that! The problem is Max's three symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses. Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings. Yesterday, there were two contradictions in Mo's testimony.
The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other.
But there's a theory. But the theory I just present explains all of these contradictions.
You fool! Do you ever shut up?
No. Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Mo said yesterday. He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Mo saw was actually the bust. Makes sense if you look at it that way. Makes sense if you look at it that way, then you did see the sick outlook social.
Fine, you've got one. But what about the other contradiction?
The other contradiction?
Remember what that ventriloquist said in court? He said that he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the Crown's testimony doesn't match. The Crown said that there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick?
Of course, I can explain all of it.
What was that?
Please, recall the instant when the cloak snagged onto the bust. If the cloak snagged onto the bust, what happened to the white roses? Do you get it yet? If the cloak got snagged onto the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bust. Ah! Which explains why Mo didn't see it. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust. Order! Order! Sora, Sora, Sora. This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads.
Let's do this, Nick. Maybe Black Guy will finally throw in the towel.
Not that easy. Really. 360, unlike Xbox.
Well, so much for that theory.
Mr. Wright, do you mind? What is it? You took the time to research our circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't? If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track. Why is that? Motive. This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude toward the Wingmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Thus, there's absolutely no way someone like this would kill the Wingmaster. Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationship with the Wingmaster and his life up until now.
What do we do? There's no doubt that Acro deeply respected the Wingmaster.
Acro's motive. It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel this is a good place to take a break. I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. This court will now take a 10-minute recess. And when we come back, we shall indeed wrap this case up and just tie up those loose ends when Let's Play Phoenix Wright, Justice for All continues right after this.